r/Nosleep. Posted by Reddit user Mr. Mojo Risen 95. Dead Children's Playground, Part 2. Hello all. After my first post, my friend has gotten back to me with a story that he had from the Dead Children's Playground. I've known my buddy Cole since I was about 6 years old. While we did drift apart when college started, we reconnected once I moved back home. This is his story from the playground. Cole recounted a tale to me of an adolescent boy named Eric Crawford, who was 9 years old, playing with his friend at the playground. They were there after hours, where the cool autumn winds were starting to blow through the town. Most of the lush green woods had turned to vibrant oranges and yellows. The stream was high from constant rainfall, where loud rapids crashed down at the banks. Eric and his friends had snuck out one afternoon to get some alone time on the playground. They had run the whole park, access to all the slides and seesaws, the rickety bridge, all to themselves. No other kids. More importantly, no other adults. At this point in history, the park was starting to build a reputation for itself after a slew of deaths. Teresa's death still hitting pretty hard in the town. Maintenances at this point were on a severe decline, and some areas of the park were downright dangerous. One of the more dangerous parts, unbeknownst to Eric and his friend, was a 13-foot fire pole that ran from the top of the highest part of the playground right down to the bottom. I remember days where I used to be so scared to slide down that pole, what seemed like a bottomless drop crashing to the earth. Yet, despite that fear, I slid down, eyes closed, many times, and landed safely back on earth. While during my times, the park was safe. When little Eric and his buddy found themselves at the park alone after hours, the dangers began to creep in. From what was accounted by Eric's buddy and the authorities, is that Eric never made it down the pole. Well, never made it down alive, that is. Like I said before, certain metal parts of the park had been really succumbed to rusting. The massive fire pole was one of the pieces of equipment that was swallowed by the years of neglect, beaming with rust and tetanus. Eric, from what Cole told me, was originally not from our town, so might not have known to steer clear from any metal bits. Eric hung from the top part of the pole, readied himself to slide down, when he fully wrapped himself around the pole like a tiny spider. The weight of his adolescent body crumbled the thin, rusted structure of the pole. The bottom of the pole disintegrated, causing Eric to fall a whole 13 feet to the ground. Now, 13 feet might be a couple of broken bones, but unluckily Eric wasn't quite as lucky. Eric fell straight down 13 feet and was impaled by a jagged piece of metal that hadn't eroded away from the pole. Eric was pinned to the floor with a large chunk of 2-foot rusted jagged metal protruding from his chest. By the time Eric's buddy could comprehend what the hell happened, and before any authorities arrived, Eric had passed away. In a pool of his own blood and sweat with a nasty jagged spike protruding from him. After Eric's death, rumors started circulating that if you were at the park at the time Eric died, approximately 8 p.m., you could see little Eric Crawford with his dull yellow shirt stained in blood and red shorts with a 2-foot metal pole protruding out of his chest, dripping with blood. Cole, being a closeted homosexual in our town, tried to keep his desires under the radar. When he found himself with a cute boy from a neighboring town at Dead Children's Playground at 8 p.m., he had a lot of explaining to do. Cole had taken his friend for a trip around our boring town. As the night drew on, it wasn't long before they stumbled upon the dirt path leading to the desolate park. Excited by the nostalgia racing through him, Cole raced along to recount old memories of his childhood to his new friend. As they excitedly made their way down the path, they stopped at the base of the park when they noticed the boy was standing in the middle of the playground with his back turned towards the woods. Cole and his friend looked at each other, checked the time, 8:25 p.m., and questioned why the little boy was out there by himself. Cole and his friend watched this little boy in a yellow shirt who had a blotchy red stain about the size of a basketball on his back. After about 5 minutes of staring, the boy standing like a statue, Cole called out to him. Nothing. The insects in the forest chirped on. They moved closer. Again, they both called out to the motionless boy, the dull yellow of his t-shirt becoming clearer, as well as the red blotchy path. They were about 4 feet from the boy, the darkness around the park surrounding them. Was that blood on his shirt? They thought. Cole tried to comfort the boy, crouching down to his level. The boy was whimpering. The insects of the forest fell silent. Cole looked back at his friend as the boy whimpered on. Trying to soothe him, Cole reached out to the boy. The eerie silence of the forest dragged on. As quickly as it started, the boy stopped whimpering. Cole held his arm frozen, mere inches from touching the boy. A pungent smell hung in the air, like metal and decay. The boy slashed around towards Cole, where Cole's forearm was sliced by something sharp. A sharp metal spike, protruding from the boy's chest, had carved out a deep gash in Cole's forearm. Cole remembered the ice-cold blue eyes of the boy that were glossed over in a frost. Falling to the floor, writhing in pain, Cole's friend raced to his aid as the boy disappeared into the darkness of the playground, laughing. As they sat there in silence, trying to nurse Cole's gash, which was stinging in pain, the rattling of metal began to echo through the park. While the echoing rang on, the little boy's laughter continued, turning more sinister with each giggle. Dragging him to his feet, Cole and his friend raced out of the playground, leaving a trail of crimson blood strewn behind them, while the demonic laughter faded into the darkness. Cole has a nasty scar on his forearm and had to be treated for tetanus. While the memory of the little bubbly Eric Crawford lives on, the sightings of his child body, with a gnarly spike from his chest, still creeps through the park. I am thankful for Cole, for his story, and sharing it with me. Seems like everyone I know back home has had some experience with the playground. I will continue to update if I have any more stories.